Hey, Nice Guy community, as you well know or may not know, we run on listener donations exclusively. So we really need you to go to patreon.com/nice guys and just donate like $1 or $2 a month.
How would they not know that already? It seems like it would be impossible. We talk about this ad nauseum. Patreon.com/nice guys. Help us, please.
Well, maybe they're a new listener. We do get those occasionally.
Well, that's true. Occasionally. We lose a lot, but we gain a lot too.
For as little as $1 or $2 a month, you can help keep the lights on. Thanks. We love you guys.
Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
If you didn't have anything for dinner that night, would you order a pizza if you had a $100 bill? You probably would hesitate versus if you had 10 $10 bills.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how people collect stuff? Collect $100 bills.
Broadcasting from the abandoned food court at the White Flint Mall. It's the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. Welcome back. It's Monday. You made it through No, you didn't make it through a week. You made it through a weekend. Okay, well, it's Monday
Well,
again.
that's not even hard to make it through the weekend.
I know, but for those of you who love your jobs, hey, if we've got like people who are running their own business and they love their business, hey, guess what, guys? You made it through another weekend. Congratulations. We're back to work on Monday. That's Doug Sandler on the other side of the mic. My name's Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Strick, I know that we have Michael Steinhardt on the show today, and he was my financial advisor, but I really wanted to, I want to come up with I have a new promise statement. Actually, it's the same promise statement, but I'm taking a word out.
Taking one
word out.
Okay.
Okay, so the old promise statement was to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. I would like to take out the word learning. Is that okay? to provide
an experience.
Yeah, because I don't think that we provide a learning experience, but I think in light of the fact that probably our best downloaded days are Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we provide more than a learning experience, we provide an overall life experience. I think that learning experience is probably too narrowly focused on those days. And I think that for the other days, we are also providing an experience and we add value to their life. So I thought the new promise statement should be to provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Are you okay with this?
An experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Okay, but if we're going to take out learning, do we even need experience? Like, you're basically saying, hey, we're providing an experience. Oh, okay, like, you can just drop that whole thing altogether then, right?
Wait, so then what would it be? Learning, that is entertaining. That's not a sentence.
I got to look at the promise statement. Hold on, let's take a look.
That's not a sentence then. I think it should be to provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. This is an open, fluid document, as you have said many times to me.
It is. It's a living, breathing document.
Right.
To provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life.
It's getting shorter, so soon it'll be non-existent.
Okay. Our promise statement is to provide entertainment and add value to your life.
No, I don't like that.
All right, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care. That's all right. To provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Okay.
Let's work with this for a little while.
Okay. It just sounds weird. It's like we're providing an experience. I can't tell if it sounds like pretentious. Like this isn't just a podcast; it's an experience.
I think
5 days a week.
I think you're taking it a little too literally.
Yeah, I'm thinking too hard.
Yeah, I think you are. I think it's to provide an experience that's entertaining and adds value to your life. I'm not putting the emphasis on the word experience. I'm putting that really want more emphasis on entertaining and adding value to your life and taking a little bit out of the fact that an experience, aren't we always learning? I think learning and experience are kind of like too similar to each other.
Maybe I'm being too sensitive because I'm looking at Michael's website, which is clearpathadvisory.com.
Yeah.
And right on the homepage of his website, there is a montage of pictures, and it's all really nice.
I know. He's
sweet,
got like a pier out in the middle.
Pictures.
Yeah, I agree.
The fjords, and then a beautiful forest, and then like this incredibly blue beach, and it's beautiful. But he has been recognized on CNBC, Baltimore Business Journal, Fiduciary News, Forbes Magazine, Time, U.S. News and World Report. So he knows what he's doing.
More importantly, I've known Michael for probably years.
Damn.
Oh, wait. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just going to beep it out. It's okay, because that would give a hint as to your age, so I'll beep it out.
Okay.
Let's suffice it to say, a very long time.
No, Michael, a very, very long time.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, yeah.
He's a great, that's true, because maybe he doesn't want anybody to know his age. Although, when you're wise and older, that lends the feel of experience and wisdom. It's okay. That's okay.
I think a very long time provides the needed weight for that.
All right, so let me express the complexity of our guest, Michael Steinhardt. Not only has he been a very good friend of mine for many, many years. See, there you go, for many years. He has been my financial planner, and he was the guy that sold me my original insurance policy when he was just in the insurance business, and then made the transition over to the financial products world. But it was in 2013 when I met with Michael. And this entire week is like very interesting for me, because we start the week with Michael, who started my experience in March of 2013 by telling me I should look at other opportunities just because my DJ business may not be the business I want to be in forever. But then Friday, we cap off the week with Ryan Estes, and he was actually the guy that I met that became the next opportunity that I saw as a big move in my future. So 2013 was a very pivotal year. And right in the middle, we have Dr. Disaster, Randall Bell, who was the guy that worked with the many, many different lawsuits and cases, including the Nicole Brown Simpson fuckery that ensued beyond that, the whole thing with the civil case with O.J. Simpson. Anyway, so Michael Steinhardt is on the show today. My financial planner, a very good friend of mine, helps you not only think about some of the complexities of saving, but does it in an extremely practical, pragmatic way. Great guy. You will love him. If you are not into the world of I need to save money, this is definitely the podcast for you to listen to, because he makes it make sense so that even somebody on the third grade level, such as myself, can completely understand. So great guy. And what's his company? ClearPath Advisory, right?
ClearPathAdvisory.com is his website. And you did the promise statement already. Mar is listening in, and she chimed in and said, people learn from you guys, though. I think it'll be a living, breathing document. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more.
Oh, so Mar is thinking that we should probably not, she's not happy. If Mar's not happy, ain't nobody happy.
Exactly.
She's like the silent partner. She's kind of like the brilliant leader behind the scenes. Now,
and the other thing with Mar, when it comes to words, when it comes to like the text and the phrase, she's the expert. I mean, really, she is. She knows this shit way better than we do. And if you're going to make a drastic change, like, okay, but like one word, it's like, what is the end goal? Is it like, hey, the promise statement is too long, let's take out one word? Well, that doesn't really solve the problem. I don't know. I kind of like learning in there.
Maybe Mar, and Nice Guy Community. Let me just step out of where we are for a moment and address the Nice Guy Community. Is that proper, Strickland? May I address the Nice Guy Community?
No, it's okay to address them. We just don't want to explain to them who, like, hey, Mar, right? If you guys don't know who Mar is, fuck you. Go back and listen to some old episodes.
You got to go back and where you don't hear any mention of Mar, and then listen to the next episode beyond that, and you will discover that Mar is our world.
Exactly.
She's out in San Francisco. She is the other half of the Mar and Prosh team. They are not married at all.
That starts sounding like exposition now.
Oh, geez.
You can address the audience because we know they're there. They're listening to us. You just don't need to explain things that have been explained in previous episodes.
Okay, I won't explain anymore. Mar, can you do us a favor? Can you look at the one sentence and maybe come up with an entirely new promise statement? I'm into that. Would you be into that, Strick?
Wow, that's a heavy weight to put on Mar to come up with a new promise statement. But I think she's up to the challenge.
She can say no. And now that we're 10 minutes into this intro, we probably should get to our interview, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Michael's probably going, do you guys ever get to the Huffman interview? I mean, and am I going to need to bleep that out? Is he like a clean?
No, he's clean. He's not a guy. I don't think he says any bad words or anything in it, but that's fine. Michael.
It's okay for me to say bad words.
Yeah, Michael is a fan of the show. He listens to the show.
Okay. And so he knows what to expect with our intros.
Well, no. Does anybody know what to expect with our intros?
If you have Overcast, you can hit +30, and until you actually hear Michael start talking, and that's when you'll know that we're done with off-roading.
It's fine. Yeah, let's just get to it. The interview with Michael Steinhardt. We are the Nice Guys on Business podcast, proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network. Let's get to our interview right here. If you've been a long-time listener to The Nice Guys, I know you've heard me make reference to a meeting I had with my financial planner on a fateful day in, I think it was 2013. I'm thinking it was March. That literally changed the direction of my life. I was going through hell. I was I guess hell is considered sometimes defined as a divorce, financial challenges because of it, and all that party stuff. You know, that's so fun stuff. My guest today, Michael Steinhardt, is that guy. Helped me stay on course by helping me change my course. I think he said something like, I'm not sure where you feel like you're going to be, Doug, but just be on the lookout for an opportunity that may be the next step in your professional and your financial journey. So welcome, my friend of nearly years, Michael Steinhardt, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thanks, Doug. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. You're so excited about that. Don't you love getting older, Michael?
You know what? It's all good. I don't feel like when you have birthdays, I don't feel any older or any different. It's just, as a lot of people say, it's just a number.
So let me go back to that. Do you recall that meeting at all? Or is it just something that I just kind of have elevated in my head to the nth degree?
Oh, no, I definitely recall it to some degree very well. You were, and you still are to some degree, in an industry that is put out by a younger generation. And I think part of the conversation was, as we do get older, where are you going to be, and is that what you want to be doing? And so I remember I didn't have necessarily the answers, but I had questions that, you had to go through and that we just talked about. And that's really what it was about.
No, it's totally right. And what was so great about that meeting, again, back in March of 13, was that you didn't have the answers, which was great because you kind of left it, as you always do with me in any of the decisions that we make, you let me make it my decision, but you kind of help guide me in the right direction. And just to take an overall approach, isn't that that's a lot of pressure? I mean, you deal with so many big decisions with people, not just financially, but really goals decisions. How have you been able to just kind of deal with that weight?
I don't really think about the weight. I think it's about relationships and engaging in conversation and talking about people's lives and their relationships and where they're headed. And kind of like I said, it's not necessarily about me having answers so much as it is about, uncovering the questions, and then that leads you down certain roads. So it's really more about that than anything else.
And Nice Guy community, just so you're aware, Michael and I have had a relationship. We've been friends since probably 10th or 11th grade, probably even earlier than that. And
oh yeah,
and you've always just kind of been just a really pragmatic, very practical guy, and just you've always been I make good decisions with my life, and I watched that, and I had watched that for so many years, even before I became a client of yours. And then I think probably in the early 90s when I first started buying some products that you were selling, I think it was actually life insurance at that point, before you were even into the entire financial planner process in the game. Part of it is it's very challenging when people are looking for a financial planner. I mean, because they're not looking necessarily for life guidance. They're looking for financial guidance. But it really is a much bigger picture than that. It is about some of the psychology in what you do. So I know you're not a psychology major, and I know that that's not a part of the things that you do, but it's almost like you have to be that way. Do you feel the same way about psychology?
I think to some degree, there's several professions that, blend over, multiple, I'll say, landscapes or, areas. So coaching is one of them. If you're coaching, whatever the sport it is you're coaching, some of it's about motivation. Certainly some of it's about teaching. So, for some of my clients, the relationship really is about the end product or how you get to the end. And for some of my client relationships, it really does go deeper. It is about, more than just, where something fits or plugs a hole. It's the space in between, I'll say.
So let's talk about some of the challenges that are presented. I mean, even today, it's big picture. People are so focused on monetary rewards and the material stuff that money can bring. How do you get their heads out of that and into more of the loving what they do and just enjoying the entire process of, I went away with my son this summer, as you know, and we went to the national parks, and one of our themes of the entire thing, I know this sounds so hokey, but this is the reality. Life is not a destination. It's a journey. We were enjoying the 11-hour drive from Salt Lake City to Glacier National Park, even though it was just road. We really did go by that, hey, it is the journey and we're going to enjoy it because look at the great scenery that lays out. So just share a little bit about how you get people out of their head of it's not just about the money at the end. It is really about...
No, it's not, yeah. It's not so much about the money and kind of the journey. It's also about experiences, in those relationships, as you were saying. It's a really good question. Part of it is not about me convincing. I don't think I'm in the convincing business so much as I am about, laying out the landscape and showing, what certain pictures look like. Listen, the fact is if you don't do planning, whatever it might be, whether it's on the financial or if you're traveling and you don't do any planning, then there's a lot of randomness. So in my industry, if you don't do planning, then you're going to randomly, acquire products and solutions, and they're not going to be fitting together necessarily. So, part of it is about creating some sort of structure, and it doesn't mean that you can't do things. If anything, it actually gives you the freedom to do things, whether it be in today's time, and it gives you the freedom to build something for the future that it then gives you that freedom down the road.
It's interesting you say that because a lot of times I feel like I'm swimming upstream. Most people aren't saving. They're not contributing to their retirement plan. They don't have life insurance. They don't have disability insurance. And I'm either the idiot doing all of that or they are not. Or is there a happy balance in between?
Well, it's funny you say swimming upstream. I wrote a piece that I hand out in my retirement plan clients when I do 401k presentations. And one of the things that I talk about is that as consumers, I think we are swimming upstream. I think we are against the current in a lot of ways. What I mean is, I remember when we were young, and this isn't a sexist statement, but every boy had a stereo system.
Mm-hmm, right.
I don't think girls did, but every boy had, and they were separate components.
Right.
I had a Harman Kardon receiver, Polk audio speakers, a Philips turntable, and a TDK tape deck. And you know how long I had that, Doug?
You probably still have it.
I still have it.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. Knowing you, I knew you still have it.
But today, kids, they don't buy stereos. What do they buy? They buy iPods, iPads, and how often do they replace them? They typically replace them every 18 months. So what's happening is we're spending our money at a faster rate. Let me give you another example. And I know this isn't exactly true, but that when we were young, there was one blue jean company, Levi Strauss. Mm-hmm. I know there were others, but there was one jean, one style, and one color. Today, what I say to people is, the last time you went to a jean store, did you ever look? It's this huge wall, and they have boot cut, straight cut, baggy jeans, corduroy, tight jeans, jeans with holes. They have so many different styles. They have every color. So you don't buy one or two. You buy one or two from multiple styles, colors. As a matter of fact, you don't even go to the store. Today we're so ingrained, stores were open so many hours. Today, you shop online, which is 24/7. So the point I'm making is that there's so many aspects of our world that it's against the grain, that you have to save for your future. You have to be responsible, whereas 2-3 generations ago, companies had pension plans. In other words, they were saving for you. So, and listen, given the choice of $5,000 to your retirement this year or $5,000 to take a European vacation, well, one sounds sexy and one doesn't. So there's so many, I have so many of those little stories like that it's a little bit of an aha as to why that you use the term I use all the time. We're swimming upstream.
And what happens is it's not a vanilla answer either. There is really no, and I guess people know that because or they would just have, financial planning would be a commodity, and it's not. It's all about personalities and relationships, and that really does bring me to my next part, which is how do you choose a financial planner that is the right one for you? Is it all just about the conversation and the relationship, or is there, well, you don't want to talk to somebody unless they have X, Y, and Z credentials, or is there something that is a definite, you must do this in order to pick a financial planner?
So I think a couple things. When you're in the beginning stages of life, you might not have enough going on. So I think it's really being about prudency and having savings, cutting back or reducing as much debt as you can. Now, sometimes you can't control it. You might have student loans, car payments, things of that nature. But it's about prudency early on of having money in the bank and then putting a little bit of money away for long-term, some sort of IRA or retirement plan. Once you start accumulating assets and vehicles and your situation changes, then the question is, well, how do you hire somebody? I think there's certainly, some questions you want to know how they work, what they charge, what their process is. But I think at the end of the day, after you talk to 2 or 3 people, I think it's about a lot of things. It's how you feel. It's your gut. It's, does this person, fit my style, my personality? Is this somebody I think I want to work with? And I'm not sure there's a magic answer there as much as it is when you walk away. It has to be more of your gut. It can't be, for some people, it can't be because he doesn't charge me a fee or he's the lowest. That probably would be not the greatest metric necessarily to pick your advisor. Certainly it's got to be affordable to you, but you have to feel like they can make a difference.
Talk about the practical side of having a planner, because I think part of it is your behavior as a customer, as a client also. So I want to talk about this magic word that I think that I've done a fairly good job with, but I could be wrong. There's this word called consistency and how it fits into the plans for really where your financial security is going and the products and the services that you end up buying.
Here's an interesting comparison. I think there's a lot of people out there that will help you with, a trainer as far as exercising, and you have people out there that help you eat. So you're not paying a trainer to count, 1, 2, you know how to count. Mm-hmm. What you're paying the trainer is for the discipline to help you, to motivate you. So I think to some degree, when you're working with an advisor, to some degree, they're there to keep you on track, to make sure that, certain decisions are being thought through larger than just rates of return. Rates of return and products sometimes are just commodities. But how you go about getting to your end destination, it's more than just a product.
So we have a whole bunch of people that are in our Nice Guy community that are probably in their 20s, but just as likely we have many that are in their 40s and their 50s and even 60s and beyond that are listening to the show. Is it ever too late to start, or is it better? When is it too late to start?
Well, obviously, the sooner the better. It's not a question so much, is it too late to start? For some people that are in their maybe mid-50s, late 50s, it might be too late to finish a job to some degree, but you can still ease to some degree, meaning that if you're 55 or 60 years old, you might not have enough time to accumulate all you need, but you can still accumulate over a 5-10 year period enough so when you are in your 70s, maybe even your 80s, you still have some resources. So what I tell people is after we have that first meeting or that first planning session, from here forward, now you know certain things, and you can't blame it on, well, geez, nobody told me, or, I didn't do this before. It doesn't matter what you did before. It only matters what you do from that point on.
Oh, that's a good point. And let me go to a portion of our show, the tools, tips, and tricks part of the show, where I want to give our Nice Guy community some action items, some things to walk away with. And I know that in all of the times that I've met with you at your office, one of the things that I love are the little examples and the little easy tricks and hacks that you provide to help people either help me save or just help me get into, you have all these different accounts that you use and all of that stuff. So help me with that. Let's start with a tool. Is there some piece of technology that you use on a regular basis, or some tool that you use on regularly that will allow people to get into the game of either financial planning or saving?
Well, there are a lot of tools out there, but I'm gonna go a little bit more old school. You brought up saving, so let me tell you one or two things I like to tell people on the early end of their careers starting out. I'm a big believer in segregating. So what I tell people is you want to segregate your savings. So I like to have 3-4 savings accounts set up for clients. So the first one is pure savings. That you want to have 3 to 6 months, your monthly expenses liquid. So if you own a business, then 3 months is fine. If you don't own a business, then I probably like to have a little bit more. That's money you don't want to touch, and I don't care about performance. All I care about is liquidity. So real quickly, savings is about liquidity. Investments is not about liquidity. It's about long-term performance. All right, let me go back to these accounts. The second account you want to have is what I refer to as a put and take account. This is what most people think of savings. You put some in, you take some out. So here I tell my clients to set a target. Maybe it's $5,000. And if you need new tires for your car and it costs you $1,500 and you don't readily have it, if you charged it, instead of going into debt on credit card loan, you dip into that put and take account and you take it out, and then eventually you replenish that account back. Mm-hmm. Then I'll tell people, have what I refer to as a house vacation account. So if you own a house, then invariably you're going to spend money either redoing a room or doing something where you're putting, I'm going to say, big ticket money into it. So big ticket might be 5 digits and up, might be $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Maybe it's $30,000 to redo a room. So what I say to people is, would it be unreasonable to go to the store and pick up, a couple pillows for your sofa? Well, of course not. Would it be unreasonable to go to the store this weekend and pick up a dining room set? Well, the dining room set might be $8,000. So, a lot of people aren't going to just on a whim go do that. Same thing. It's not unreasonable to go to the beach for the weekend, but it's unreasonable to go to Europe for 12 days.
Right.
So I think these bigger ticket items, you're going to plan in advance. It could be 6 months, it could be 18 months that you're planning in advance. So that third account, so the first one is pure savings, the second is put and take. The third account, I will say, is the house/vacation. These are for your big ticket on those two items. Now you might have a fourth account. For some people that have kids, you might want to have a college savings investment account, but you might want to have an account where it's really more savings, and it might be for birthday parties or events that happen between now and college. So I'm a big believer of segregating those savings accounts.
All right, so let's just review just so we have it. So you have the pure savings account, you have the put and take account, you have the house/vacation, and then you have give me the name of the last account.
I would say it could be a kid's account.
Okay, so we have 4 of those savings, and that is not unrealistic to think that we could have those 4 things. I think what's challenging, and again, as transparent as I can possibly be, the toughest one for me is that first one. It's having the wherewithal to have 3 or 4 months of liquidity. That would mean having a tremendous amount of money. How do you just start to accumulate that before you even, and because also aren't you talking about, you also want to have retirement, you also want to have your financial product, and you have a bunch of other things in addition to that, not savings, but other vehicles that you're using. So where do you put the priority though? Do you put the priority into stop all the other things until you have that first pure savings account?
I just don't think you can do that. I think we have to be realistic. We live in a consumption world, so part of it is you have to be disciplined to maybe cut back a little bit. It's really, Doug, all about choices. So, yes, you are right. It is hard. But listen, if something happens to you, whether it be out of work or something comes up or you have a big expense, you want to know you have those, reserves and resources that you're not going into further debt. So I think for some situations, it's not about drop everything and build that up. I think you just have to set priorities and have some discipline. And listen, maybe for some situations, you forego 6 months of putting money into the 401k or the IRA until you have some amount of savings. My kids are at the point where, my son is now working and my daughter will be graduating. And what I've told my son, and I'll tell this to my daughter too, is that I like to see him put 10% in the bank when he starts out working and 10% into the retirement plan. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but if you start these habits early, then they stay with you. It's like anything else. Inertia is powerful. So the reason I don't stop working out is once I stop, I kind of fear that I just won't go back.
Right.
So I think it's about starting good habits and staying with them. And if you don't have these good habits, then just like any other habit of working out or eating healthier, it is very painful in the beginning.
Hey, help me for a second because, again, every time I'm in your office, those are definitely long-term goals with the savings accounts. But you have this really cool life hack. I want you to bring up, and we talked about this when I was having this little conversation with you about coming on the air and doing this. You have this $5 thing. So talk about the $5 thing because Nice Guy Community, this is such an easy way to save a considerable amount of money in a quick period of time. So share that $5 bill secret.
Well, you know how most people, they put their change in a jar. So,
yeah.
Some of this stuff really is about, I don't want to say tricking yourself or playing games, but some of it's a little bit about that. So what I did years ago, I just got in the habit, and I don't want to say every single, but almost every day, if I come home and I have a $5 bill, I just take it out of my wallet and I put it in an envelope. Actually, I put it in a jar. And at the end of the year, I just add up all those $5 bills I had in a jar. And I can tell you that it's accumulated, quite a bit every year. Now it's kind of sport for me, that I want to see if I can top last year's, so I'm a little bit more disciplined about it, from time to time. And obviously, I don't miss it. So
yeah.
I have one more.
Go ahead.
For some people that budget cash. So let's say you budget $100 a week. So let me do it. Let's do it $100 a week.
Okay.
At the end of the week, let's say you spent $75.
Oh, so you're talking about like $100 a week just for food or for lunches or whatever it is, $100
right,
a week.
Cash.
Oh, cash.
Cash. It's in your pocket, wallet, whatever.
Yeah.
And the end of the week, you have $25 left over. And you're about to take your next 100 because you're budgeting 100. So you take your next 100. Now, most people they'll take 100. They won't take 75. They'll take 100.
Right.
So here's what I tell people. If you budgeted 100 and you got 25 left over, take the 25 out of your wallet and put it in an envelope. Mm-hmm. So every time you have a little bit left over, take it out and put it in an envelope. Now, when that envelope gets to $100, put it in a $100 bill.
Mm-hmm. That's hard to spend a $100 bill.
If you didn't have anything for dinner that night, would you order a pizza if you had a $100 bill? You probably would hesitate versus if you had $10 bills.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how people collect stuff? collect $100 bills.
That's a good thing. You know, my trick has always been, and this is probably very common for people that are listening to this show, or maybe not. I don't know. This is just what I do. Change only comes into my house. It never leaves my house. So for me, it goes into that jar. It's kind of like your $5 thing on a much smaller scale, but you do not feel that you don't have the change in your pocket. If anything, it's a relief that you're not carrying change around with you all the time. In probably, 6 months' time, I have a couple $100 that I have in jars.
Well, imagine doing it with $5 bills, and I assure you, I don't notice, the $5 bills. And every now and then, I'll take a 10 or a 20 out just to expedite, that envelope, so to speak.
Right. Oh, that's great. Hey, Michael, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you just to learn more about the services that you provide, or maybe to get some of your sage, wise life hacks like those, how can they reach out to you?
Michael at clearpathadvisory.com. So it's
I'll get
ADVI.
That's all right. I'll get it in the.
Okay.
I'll put it in the show notes. That's cool. You don't have to spell it because everybody's driving right now, so I can write it down anyway. Yeah, we'll make sure we put all the information in the show notes in addition to having your email address. And are you okay if they call you too?
Absolutely. It's 410-486-5242.
Awesome. Michael, thank you for your wealth of knowledge, and thanks for your friendship and for being the beacon of guidance in my life. I need it.
Equally, thank you for your friendship, very much so, and the joy of working. Quite candidly, Doug, real quickly, I get to choose my client relationships. Unlike a retail store, they don't get to choose. If you have money, you can come in and buy. In my business, I can only work with a limited number of people. So I really enjoy working with you and people in your position that are engaging in the process. So thank you too.
Thanks. So Nice Guy community, again, get in touch with Michael if you want to learn some really cool advice on either how to save money or what to do with the money that you have, or if you don't have any money, what you can do to begin the process. Definitely, he is an equal opportunity helper. So thanks again. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the value of nice and the power of nice. Special thanks to Michael Steinhardt for being on the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
The nice guys want to hear from you. Call 4242 DJ Doug and ask any questions you like. Well, except about the cloud. Nobody understands the cloud. Don't bring up Santa Claus either. Doug's still a believer.